the level of violent crime that we have right now is just simply out of control. Whether it's a national thing or not, I don't care. It's a Cleveland thing. As we move forward, the safety plan that I have posted is going to be much of what I do, but I want to start with some of the highlights. First is, we need to really look at the fact that we have to do a better job recruiting, training, and retaining our officers. We need to make sure that they have the tools, the technology, the equipment that they need to succeed. Of our $280 million budget, we are down over 100 uniformed personnel that council allocated and budgeted for. And if you look at what does that mean, what that means is we're talking about violent crime and murders. Well, there's openings in homicide. There's homicide detective positions open. And if we don't solve these, they're going to continue to recur, and we cannot accept that. Second pillar is we need to do true community policing. We need to start with neighborhood mini stations. Unfortunately, we had those at one time, but they were cut under a few administrations ago. We need to bring those back. We need to make sure that we are doing, as general police orders, we're doing foot patrol, we're doing bike patrol. We have a true community service unit in every police district and a true community relations committee of citizens that meets with the police. We have that in the 2nd district, and it's something we meet with every single month.
Why do we need a new mayor to fix it when we had a council president and a mayor that was supportive of you not fixing it?
As you know, I am the council president. I don't hire, I don't do policy. We allocate a budget. I do policy, but we allocate budgets, we allocate programs, we approve programs. The question to ask is, did council not give enough money? Did council leave the police short? And that's not the case here. The money that we allocated for 1,641 officers has not been spent. We've got to do a better job of doing the recruitment, of doing the training, of doing the retraining. So it's, if I were one of my opponents, I'd say the same thing. But if you understand the basic mechanisms of city government, you understand that my job was to craft a budget, approve programs that work, programs and policies that work. I would also say that in the 2nd district, we do everything that I just said, except for the mini stations. Correct.
Has that worked, and what elements should be thrown out or improved?
It is too early to judge that because it is not ramped up entirely to where it needs to be. The elements of it that do work, having a social worker between rec centers, dealing with violence interruption, going to kids where kids are, that works. Is it fully staffed yet? No. Is that a good model moving forward? Yes. Did council allocate all the funds to make that a success? Yes.
We need, day one, a stronger gang unit out there to deal with this.
Yes, but we need to think not just of one unit, but we need to figure out what are we doing to stop violence before it happens. We have enough intelligence to know when things are ramping up, to know who's feuding with who, and we need to make sure that we devote the resources to that. We need to make sure that whether it's our intelligence unit, whether it's the gang unit, whether it's the violence interrupters, we need to make sure that we are using those tools that are already available as a very starting point. And that's something I can do on day one because they're already there. But this consent decree does not go away until the judge says that it does, and we have met each of those elements. And there's still work to be done.
Yeah.
I do not support issue 24. I am all for accountability, but we already have a federal judge demanding accountability. We are already taking steps towards accountability. We have a civilian police commission in place to do just this. And they do it, they work, they're doing the job that they were set out to do. The problem with this is manyfold, and I probably can't finish this in a 30-minute interview, but let's just start with the very basics. Giving an unelected board authority over discipline, over the final word on all discipline, giving an unelected board the authority to recommend commanders and to recommend to recommend and approve policies and procedures, it would further dampen morale, which is already struggling. It would make it a lot harder to get police officers to apply to work for the city of Cleveland. Now, while I and we all want police accountability, we all know it led to the consent decree, but we are making tremendous progress. The question that we all need to ask right now is, do we think that our community would be safer with this or without? Do we think it'd be easier to get a chief when the chief can be overruled by an unelected civilian board? I think that this is problematic, and 1% of a budget of $280-some million to do what? That's where, you know, this board will become political. My vision is this: the chief came in at a time, you know, when it was a very volatile situation in the division of police, and he instituted certain reforms, and he was certain consistencies that he did. I think now that he's done some of that heavy lifting, it's time to bring in, or I guess I should say, the next chief needs to be that person that is more kind of a morale booster, somebody that is more what's the right word, you know, empathetic to the needs of the officer, understands the challenges that they go through out in the streets. And not that the current chief isn't, but I think that these are hard jobs, and you just can't stay at them forever.